impressive year. We've got some good corn up here. We just got to get it to the finish line. Good morning. Okay, so we have got 2 more loads of fungicide to spray today. That's the first thing on the agenda. Let's get them done this morning before it gets too windy. Pretty cloudy and overcast today, but at least it's not windy. So we're gonna get that done. Dad is getting ready to put electric fence up around our sweet corn because it's about ready, and the coon will get it tomorrow. You know, the day before we can actually eat it. If you don't put a fence up. So he's working on that. Our pipe for our traveler should be done here by noon today, so we'll get that put back on. I'll show you what happened up there a little bit better, and then we'll see what else is going on this afternoon. But let's get the spraying done. So I'm over these last few fields that we've got to spray fungicide here are the same ones that we've been spraying that manganese in a few weeks ago. They're not terribly yellow in this low hole, but it does look like they could use another shot, and there's some weeds out there. They kind of need a shot of Roundup, so we'll have to get to that sometime soon here. Last fill up of fungicide, finally. This jug is open. I'm not entirely sure how much is in there. Looks like about 2 gallons. If it was full and I put those 2 in, we could do 70 acres. The field we're going to is only 62, and that's really about all I've got left. A couple of check strips in places, so I'm gonna measure that out, calculate how many acres that will do, and that'll determine whether I put both of those in or not. If it's right around 60 acres for all of it, then I'll put it all in. If not, we'll leave a full jug and we'll keep it for next year. All right, so my math worked out to 65 acres if I put that 5 gallons plus that other partial jug in, which is more than it's in the field, so I decided I would save one of those jugs. So I put a full one and the partial in. That's 42 acres worth. It's fine. It means there's 18, 20 acres of check. No big deal. And so yeah, so we need 630 gallons, and we'll spray this last load out. You guys see those weeds? So this is the other field. There's 2 that we have. This one and another one that have some mare's tail growing in them, sort of bad. And it's not the whole field, it's just kind of the ridges or a few spots. I think I figured out why though. So first of all, the mare's tail around here is Roundup resistant. That's the major weed that we fight with Roundup resistance, which means when we spray it with Roundup, which is supposed to kill everything, they don't die, they're resistant. And we've been fighting that for a few years, but we've gone to some more residual chemicals and stuff to help fix that. And for the most part, done a pretty good job. But this field and one other one, like I said, this year, have a significant amount of mare's tail in it. There's very little to nothing that we can do about it at this point because it's so late in the growing season. And the chemical that we could use on these beans has kind of been, there was a court order that struck it down, the dicamba ruling. I don't know if I talked about this a while ago or not, but anyway. Either way, it's something you don't want to be spraying if you don't have to because of drift issues, especially late in the season. But these 2 fields were the 2 fields that we no-tilled this spring. We did not work them in the fall, and we did not work the fields, or at least the whole fields, this spring. We may have done part of this one with our disc, but we didn't do the whole thing, and I think that tillage pass, or lack thereof, is what let the mare's tail get started. We didn't take them out early in the spring, and so now they're growing up above the beans, and that's a tough thing because, you know, we'd like to be able to no-till more, but when you got weed problems like this, it just causes problems and it makes it a lot harder. So it's kind of a trade-off between more and more potent chemicals versus less tillage versus more tillage in our normal chemical program. So I don't know what the answer is, but we can't have that. At least not every year in every field. That would be a bad deal. Okay, I got done here. Ran out of chemical. I am rinsing the tank and stuff out in the boom, just so there's not chemicals setting in there. Fungicide really won't hurt much, and especially if you go to another field, it isn't going to really hurt anything. But I don't know when I'm going to spray again, and since we're done with this, I'm just going to flush it out real quick once. So it's actually, on this sprayer, there is a freshwater tank, a rinse tank that's only got water in it ever, doesn't get chemical. And so it pulls some water out of that and kind of flushes all the lines, sprays some in the tank, rinses it out, rinses the chemical eductor, and then it puts all that water, kind of the rinse water in the tank, and we just spray it out, and it cleans everything pretty good. If you're switching chemicals or something that's going to hurt the next crop that you go to, herbicides for example, you can do like a triple rinse or higher volumes and really clean it out pretty thoroughly. There's the list of things that it's going through. So it rinses the eductor, the agitation lines, bypass lines. Now it's rinsing the solution tank, and then we'll spray the rinse water out and do the boom. Okay, that job is done, finally. We ended up spraying not quite 1,200 acres of soybeans, just about 1,200. So we covered a lot of ground. It wasn't quite all the beans, but we covered every field, just left some strips in a few places. They called me, my irrigation pipe is done, so I'm gonna go get that picked up. And I got a couple other places I need to stop and talk to people, so I'll go run and do that, and then we'll get our irrigation fixed and running. All right, I am back. Let me show you what I've got. So this is the pipe that I bent, and I don't know if you'll remember what this used to look like, but it was basically pretty similar to this, but this piece here is the old 45 that I had that was down here. It was off the bottom of it to keep my hose from making such a sharp bend. The piece that was on here originally, this kind of lip that is folded there for the clamp to lock onto, had stretched. This had bent, it had collapsed a little bit, so it was not round, it was oblonged, and it had kinked in here. And so I took it to welding shop. They basically cut the pipe off, slid this this 45 degree on there, welded it in place. After looking at what they did, we probably could have done that, but that's all right. They did a really good job. It won't leak, which is great. Now the way that this mounts up there, this will point basically straight down to the ground. So I went and got a new 45 degree thing to put on there, and I got a new clamp because the old one had a piece welded to it with a bolt through the clamp to hold the clamp on there so that you didn't lose it, but I never take that one apart with the 45 on there. So this should work. We got to take it back up there, get it reinstalled, which it's not too hard to do. So I'm gonna load her up in the back of the gator and we'll run it up there. Kate got her electric fence up. That'll keep the coons out. My late planted sweet corn is just starting to tassel. This stuff down here we've pollinated. Not really any brown silks yet, maybe a few, but we're a few days, week away from having some sweet corn, I would say. Some of this, I don't know if there's gonna be much there, but anyway, at least the coon won't get it. Phil's cleaning a bin out, loading out actually wheat out of that one. We didn't have much in there, so we decided to haul it out. We'll fill that bin with corn this fall. So yeah, it goes there. We got to get it put back on. Okay, that took a second to get it all lined back up and get the seal on and the bolts in, but we got it. Our angle's a little bit different than what we started with. Not a big deal. We're gonna put this fitting on here, and that should work. Just like that. Okay. So, well, the other night, what happened here, I can kind of show you a little bit better now. But basically, when I move this thing, I take this hose and I kind of lay it up on top of here so that it's draped up on that pipe, right? It's out of the way, and it's off the ground, so it's not dragging. And then this whole thing obviously is rotated so that the gun cart is to the back. This is to the front, which makes that hose kind of on that side of the Traveler next to those tires down there. Never had a problem with it. Well, I think my center lane is too narrow, and I've been really worried about getting too close to the pipe with as muddy as we've got in spots, so I'm trying to hug that corn on that side when I'm moving it. Stay away from the pipe. And now that the corn is tall, one of the stalks caught the hose as it was laying up here, and it pulled it down. When it pulled it down, it got underneath that tire, and it basically, that tire, all the weight of it was rolling on the hose until the hose got tight, and this was kind of pivoted towards the back like this. So the hose was laying on the ground. It got driven over, which pulled really hard back on this, and it put a lot of stress on here, and it kinked it right there, stretched it out, ruined that end. It was a stupid mistake on my part for not just taking it apart and rolling it up and putting it on the platform and trying to cut a corner, but it's how I've always done it. It's never been an issue. So yeah, it is what it is. I'll try and do better next time. Okay, since we've got this back together, we are ready to pull the gun cart out. I kind of stopped and didn't do that after I realized that I had broken that pipe the other night. So I've got her all hooked up and ready to go. We just got to pull it out. So this one here is a pretty full pull, not quite 1,200 feet, but it should be over 1,000, which makes it a 9-10 hour pull. And for a couple of reasons, I am not going to start it up right now. One of them being the fact that if I did start it now, it'll get done like 9 o'clock tonight, something like that, which isn't bad. But the next pull, going the other direction, is a short one. It's only like a 4-hour pull, something like that, and so it'll be a middle of the nighter. If I started it up when this one was done, I don't really want to do that. The other reason, and more importantly, we've got an airplane coming today. I've talked about it a couple of times. They're finally making it here. We're maybe just a touch late, but it'll be fine. And so I don't want water spraying while there's an airplane flying 10 feet above the corn. So I'm really hoping I'm up here when they're doing it, or I see them coming and can get here and get you guys some video. But all I know is this afternoon to this evening sometime, and they've got 1,000 acres to do. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully we can catch them. Man, oh man, we've still got some beautiful corn up here. It's growing. We're progressing a little bit. You look at these silks, and you'll notice that they're starting to turn brown. Yeah, so brown silk is the latest that we're really want to spray any fungicide on it. That's why I'm happy that the plane is coming today. I was hoping it would be here on Tuesday, and yeah, maybe could have done it last week even, but should be okay. We're gonna get the fungicide on here. But dang, look at this corn. Let's look at an ear. You can see how much bigger this ear is since the last time we looked, which I don't remember how long ago that was, but not a lot. The silks are starting to turn brown because their job is done. They're there to get pollen into the kernels, and we've pollinated, so the silks are going to all start to dry up and turn brown, which is fine. And these ears are going to keep growing, the kernels are going to keep developing, and it's going to be impressive. So we're at what I would consider, I believe, is R2, blister stage, where you can tell that the kernels have pollinated because they've starting to develop some milky starch inside, but they're not really big kernels. They're not turning yellow yet. So yeah, impressive ear. We've got some good corn up here. We just got to get it to the finish line. That one's an 18 by 44, and my population up here is pretty thick. In a couple of weeks we'll do some stand counts and get some better yield checks, but a lot of this got planted at 37,000 plants per acre because I knew I was irrigating it and I could sustain it. So we won't have that many harvestable ears, but we may be in the 34,000 per acre range, which changes that calculation quite a bit. So my yield calculation that we talked about a couple weeks ago, if you take the length, kernels length times kernel rows times your population divided by 90,000 kernels in a bushel, calculates out to 290 on that ear if I did 33,000 ears per acre. I don't know that it's that good. I don't know that there's that many ears, but it might be close. All right, well, it's lunchtime, but I don't want to leave and go home for lunch because I might miss the plane. And let's be honest, that's the only thing you guys are still sticking around this video for. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab something to eat here real quick. Where's my phone charger? I just had a phone charger in my hand. Sorry. Anyway, I think I'm going to jump in that mower over there, and we're going to go up that way where the field is and do some mowing. There's some roadsides, a couple of filter strips, some stuff that needs done up there. So that way we're close to the field and we can hopefully catch an airplane. We're quite the angle here. A little sketchy. So I'm up by our irrigated field. In fact, our gun sits right in there. But we've got this big area down here that was flooded out when we got that big rain the second week of May there. And the weeds are starting to grow up through it because I've never got any herbicide put on it. It was too wet to spray. So I wanted to come up and mow this stuff all down. Can you guys see the streaky height difference in those weeds there? You know what that's from? It's the starter fertilizer bands from my planter. Because I planted this whole area before it rained. It all drowned it out after it got planted. So the starter got applied and then the corn wasn't there to use it. And so the weeds took it up and as they started taking over, and where the starter band was, the weeds got taller than in between the rows. Fertilizer works. I'm running out of stuff to mow. I'm doing this lane that I drive back to jump across the river. I already mowed on the other side by our pump and stuff over there. I mowed along those trees. I did all the roadsides and all the stuff north, way back over there by those woods is where we were earlier. I've been up here for about 3 hours. Still no plane. So I'm going to finish this one, and then I guess we're going back to the farm, and we'll keep our eyes peeled, and hopefully we see it and can run up here with a pickup or something when the plane does get here. Well, while I am waiting for that plane to show up, I decided to come check over on the tile field where Dad's doing his dirt work and stuff. He's using our small pan scraper to move a little dirt, fill in some gullies, shaping some waterways and stuff. So I thought I'd show you that a little bit maybe. So kind of over there in that low ground, it's area that we don't farm. It's wet, but there's a lot of dirt that has eroded in there over the years, like hundreds of years. And there's muck underneath and gray dirt on top, or yellow dirt, or whatever color you want to call it. So Dad's kind of scraping it up. And hauling it back out into the field where it's useful. So then he hauls it over here and dumps it out. Spot there. We do have a couple of bigger scrapers. That one's a smaller one. I think it's a 6 or a 7 yarder. We've got a set of double 14 yarders that we pull with our big tractor, but for where he's working and scooping dirt out over there, it's they're too big. You can't fill them. They don't have enough length, so he's using the small ones up here right now. also put a waterway in here. We had a washout gully through there, and so we filled it in and shaped it nice. We're gonna maybe do a little more grading with our little box scraper, and then seed it down here so that it's grassed and it won't wash again. Got another gully over here. We're clear on the opposite end of the field. Dad's working way back over there. We've got one here that's gotten really bad in the last 2 or 3 years, and so we're gonna do the same thing here. Just put a waterway in and fill this in, grass it so that it doesn't keep washing. Dad chiseled along the sides of it to give himself some loose dirt to work with, but it's no good. As you can see up here, it's actually washed out so much dirt there's a tile showing. So that's unacceptable, big time. And part of the problem here is that it turns and it goes that way across the rows. So we're gonna try and cut through this ridge and fill that in so that the water, because it's coming from up by the road, there's a standpipe up there, and it kind of goes over by the house and through the low ground and then meanders back over here to get down to that low ground where all that grass is. So we want to cut it off there, run it straight out to the road, and that way it's with the rows and it doesn't, it's not such a pain to farm around. So we're gonna fix it. Just out standing here in my field, waiting on an airplane. I won't stand here in the middle of it once it's coming, but I've been doing a little crop scouting. Pulling a few ears, doing some stand counts, looking around. We've got a lot of plants out here. It is thick. A couple of counts that I've taken were 37,000, and the last one was 34,000. So there's a lot of ears, and that's harvestable ears, not plants. That's ears that are actually pollinated and starting to fill out. So that's good. I don't know. Wish I could get a plane here to spray my fungicide. It's getting a little late. This corn has progressed through pollination a little faster than I had anticipated it would. This one's farther along than the one we looked at earlier, but this is a 109-day hybrid. The other one was a 112-day hybrid, so there's some differences there. It's still worth it to spray it, but if it doesn't get done today or tomorrow and they're going to tell me it's going to be next week, I don't know. It needs done now. Well, there's the 3 hybrids that we've got in this field. So 109-day, 110-day, 112-day. Now, these ears obviously look the most impressive, but I will preface that with saying that this one had 37,000 harvestable ears. This one had 34,000. This one had 29. So it's going to take bigger ears to equal these other 2. They all look good. I don't know. I don't really know what to think. It's over 200 bushel corn. Let's just go that way. Still hoping for 3 though. At least parts of it. We ought to be able to hit 300. With all the water we put on up here and the fertilizer, we'll find out, won't we? Well, guys, I think either I missed it or the plane's not coming today, because it's 6:30. No signs of them. I mean, I've been outside and up around here almost all day, certainly all afternoon, so I don't know how I could have missed it. I'm not very happy if they don't show up here, because this stuff needs sprayed. They had originally told me they were coming on Tuesday. I probably should have told them to come last week. They did have a plane in the area a week ago, but our corn was still just starting to tassel when that one was lined up, and I thought we had plenty of time yet, and now we're running out. But if they would have done it today, it would have been fine. I just am afraid that if they don't come today, they're going to wait until the middle or the end of next week before they come back again, and then we're certainly too late. So I don't know, but I think I'm going to head back to the farm, probably drive back up here with my pickup, but I'm heading home pretty soon because I'm not going to sit around here all night. Well, guys, sorry. I don't know if I missed that plane or if it just hasn't shown up yet. I don't know. If I missed it, I'm sorry. If it hasn't shown up yet, they better be sorry. This is why we own our own sprayer. You can't rely on people to come and do stuff for you when you want it done. And unfortunately, I can't spray this corn with our sprayer. It has to be done with an airplane, and well, I don't have one of those. So I'm kind of at their mercy, and there's nothing I can do about it. But Anyway, if I happen to catch it tonight, it'll be in this video yet. If not, maybe tomorrow or some other time. I don't know what their plan is. I did ask my agronomist about fungicide timing and whether it was still worth it, and they said yes, still spray it. It still benefits. So we'll try and get it done here in the next day, or hopefully as soon as possible. But anyway, I guess that's it for tonight. So have a good night. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. Leave me any questions and comments down below. We'll see you tomorrow. So about a half hour after I left the farm and got back home, I got a text from somebody said that they thought the plane was on the way, but they saw it heading our way, and they're about 25 miles east of us. So I jumped in my truck and headed to the field as quickly as I could get there, and I saw a plane flying, but it had to be close to 10 miles east of us, and when it was done there, I no longer could see it. It was gone. It never came to our field. So whether it had already been to our field and gone and left between the time that they saw it and I got there, I highly doubt they could spray 175 acres in less than a half an hour, but I suppose it's possible. So I don't know. And I can't imagine they came later, because it was like 8:30, 8:45 when we left the field. I took the boys and my wife. So it was getting dark shortly thereafter. Maybe they didn't get to us today. Maybe they'll come tomorrow. I really don't know. It's possible that I missed it. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. I'll let you know. So have a good night. See ya.